Hello everyone, welcome once again to another TrainAid video. We are looking at the Level 4 Certificate in Education and Training, and this is looking at Unit 2 of the course. So we are examining questions 2.3 and 2.4. So these two questions are merged together, and throughout this video we're going to give you lots of help and advice on how to answer the two questions. So 2.3 is to explain how own planning meets the individual needs of learners, and 2.4 is explain ways in which teaching and learning plans can be adapted to meet the individual needs of learners. So the first page, we've got just a series of instructions which we are going to talk through, and then we are going to move on to the table and look at how to answer the question there. So what this assignment question is looking at is all the considerations that you as a teacher put into place when teaching a new class for the very first time. So think about the environment that you are teaching. So all the considerations, all the planning aspects that go into that, the teaching resources. So what resources are you going to be using for your lessons? How do you plan for your resources to be effective? And also the teaching and learning approaches. So what teaching and learning approaches or activities are you going to use? And do you need to plan anything surrounding using those approaches? So we'll go through each of the three categories shortly, but when you complete the table, please explain a minimum of 2 considerations for each category when planning your lesson. So for example, when planning a new lesson, think about the classroom or teaching environment. So what will the classroom look like? What are the health and safety requirements surrounding the environment? And for example, do you need to check that all the technologies are working correctly prior to teaching? So thinking about Wi-Fi, for example, thinking about computers within that classroom, do they all work for your learners, so to speak? The health and safety about the environments. So you could think about perhaps doing a risk assessment to make sure that the environment is safe, there's no trip hazards. All of those things are considerations, and that's what we're looking for this assignment answer. In addition, I would also like for you to please recall one example where you've made changes to the classroom environment, resources, and assessment or teaching approaches in order to support a learner's individual needs as well. So we're looking at the planning side, everything that goes into the planning of your lessons, but also making adequate changes to support the individual needs of your learner. So you might need to think back to experiences where you've made suitable changes. Again, we'll look at this further within our table. So for example, you may have had to perhaps change a seating plan or the environment if a learner has perhaps got difficulty with reading the screen. So they may have been positioned at the back of your classroom, but you may have moved them towards the front so they can obviously see the screen and it's easier for them to digest the information. Furthermore, you could change the PowerPoint font size to be larger, or handouts are printed in a different size, or you could obviously issue different colored handouts as well. But there's lots of examples which we'll talk through here. So if we scroll down onto our table, we've got the 3 categories. So we've got the classroom, the environment, we've also got resources, and finally, we've also got assessment methods and teaching approaches. So to complete questions 2.3 and 2.4, you need to complete this table here. So it's merged together. So the first category is the classroom, otherwise known as the teaching environment. So I would like for you to think about your environment. So when you're planning a lesson, we're thinking about a minimum of 2 considerations. So when you're planning perhaps your very own course, what things do you think about when you're thinking of the best environment for your learners? So what we need to do is we need to explain a minimum of 2 considerations for this category. So what we've done is we've produced obviously a number of bullet points, so some hints that you could select, and feel free to select your own, by the way. So considerations, obviously you've got the classroom layout and space, health and safety of the environment, that's a big one. Technology and digital access, seating arrangements for your learners, light and noise. So is there enough lighting, adequate lighting within your classroom? Noise, is there any perhaps external noise that can distract your learners? How do you minimize that, for example? Access arrangements, can all learners access your training room? So think about wheelchair access, clear walkways as well. So you've got a range of bullet points here. You can, of course, select your own if they're not mentioned there, if they're not featured. So I've put 2 examples in here myself. In terms of level of detail, I would like for you to explain a minimum of 2, any 2, and we're looking for perhaps a paragraph of information. So I've obviously done a couple of bullet points there, but I would need to expand on these bullet points if I was to write out this answer. So the first one is the classroom layout and space. So for this, I would say when it comes to my own teaching, and when I'm delivering a new course, perhaps a company, I need to find out about the classroom layout and also space available as well. So I need to think about the actual layout itself, how many learners I'm teaching to, where the PowerPoint is, so where the screen is, where can I put my laptop, is there any space for doing group work activities as well. In terms of the classroom layout, also in terms of the desks, are they in rows? Are they perhaps in the island as well? Have I got the capacity to move the classroom layout to perhaps create a horseshoe in terms of the desks as well, or are they fixed to the floor? So all of those considerations I need to consider as well. But space is huge. So do you have the luxury of a big training room, or is it smaller? Do I need to think about perhaps making a reduction in terms of the amount of desks? Otherwise, it could be quite a cluttered environment as well. So that is just something that I do as well. So I'm very conscious of the classroom layout and space, and I'll always find out prior to teaching about the environment rather than going into a classroom blind. I want to find out about the environment as well. The second one is technology and digital access. So this is all about Wi-Fi. So does the environment have Wi-Fi available? Are there IT facilities within the room? So are there computers within the classroom already? Are they working? And can all my learners access the actual the computers as well? So are they working, are they functioning, but also can my learners access them? So do they have like passwords or a lock on computers? So perhaps I need to unlock them so that learners can access them as well. So in terms of technology, I need to think about that as well. Also with my assignment templates, I use Word, but if they're using perhaps a different device such as a Mac, then there might be some formatting issues as well. So I need to be aware of that when it comes to technology as well. So those are the considerations that I personally think about when planning a new course. So those are 2 of my considerations from my list, but feel free to select any 2. You can also select 2 which are not featured on the list as well. We're looking for, as I said, a paragraph of you explaining about your considerations and just how you as a teacher overcome those aspects there. Also, on to 2.4. So this is to explain one example where you've had to change the classroom environment resource or the actual teaching assessment approach in order to support a learner's individual needs. So we're staying with the category of the classroom and the environment. So have I ever made a change to the environment? The answer is yes, I have. So in terms of accessibility, so access arrangement, so to ensure there is wheelchair access and clear walkways. So previously I've delivered lessons where we've had learners within a wheelchair, which what we've done is we've changed the actual location. So the classroom, the training took place on the ground floor. So there was ramps instead of stairs. We didn't need to worry about the lifts because the training was on the ground floor. So the actual environment was wheelchair accessible, clear walkways, so there wasn't any sort of hazards in terms of wires. So all of that was ironed out with a risk assessment prior. So that way, we're making the environment accessible for the learner as well. So therefore, it was a successful environment. So that the learner was grateful for the environment to be catered for their individual needs as well. But that is my example. As I said, we're looking for you to explain one example where you've had to perhaps change the classroom environment to support the learner's individual needs. So think about just one example of your own experience, or you could talk about the future as well. So if you had an example, what changes could you make to support the individual needs as well? So that is the first category. And I will move on to the other two categories as well. But hopefully you've found this video useful. So just explaining two considerations there. Okay, that's when you are planning your lessons. Okay, and then one example of how you can change the classroom environment to support an individual learner's needs. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully this video has been useful. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated as well. And any questions, just please put them in the link below. But thank you for watching. Please do like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.